Hi, I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. We have a lot of exciting things that are coming up even this year, although we're getting to the end of the year, but also in 2024. But new ships coming out, of course, and of course, what the great efforts that the cruise industry is doing as far as sustainability, going to liquefied natural gas, and also some other things they're doing too. But once again, it's just cruising is really taking off like in a very, very great way. And we got through COVID-19, and cruising is just really taking off. I really think it was back to pent up demand because once again, when people couldn't travel, had to work from home, they couldn't travel, had put vacations on hold. It got to be a very, very tough situation. And I really think at this time, people really just really realize that you really need to have those remarkable, wonderful experiences with family, friends, even by yourself, because you're building memories of a lifetime when you travel. And the cruise industry, of course, lets you do that more than ever in different ways. So, one thing that just came up I want to share is just had another christening. Yes, christening ceremony ceremony, and it was just took place on December 2nd, week of last Saturday, and it was with the Emerald Sakara. Emerald Cruises is actually um, owned the parent company Emerald Cruises, and it's owned and founded. He also has a scenic group, Glenn Maroney, and what they did was they just christened on Saturday, December 2nd, their new Emerald Sakura, and is christened by godmother Kelly Craighead, who is the CEO of the Cruise Lines International Association. And she's a fantastic person. I met her, but the Cruise Lines International Association, they are fantastic. What they do is they really promote cruise lines like crazy, but they have all the cruise lines that are members. It's a great way to really recognize people like Kelly. She's fantastic, but she was the godmother. And with the Sakura, it's, of course, it's the second ocean-going ship for Emerald Cruises, and once again, it was founded as a river cruise line by Sakura's sister company, the Emerald Azura, which entered service last year. And what they did was, after the christening, the ship sailed out for a week-long West Indies hopping itinerary, British Virgin Islands, St. Bart's, and I believe the cruise ship was actually christened in San Juan, Puerto Rico. But I met Kelly a couple of times. She's great. As mentioned, she is the CEO of the Cruise Lines International Association called CLIA. But they just christened their beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ship. It's a smaller ship. Once again, with them, they really focus on having smaller ships. You know, they could build bigger ships, but really, I don't think they really want to. They want to keep things as far as the experiences more one-on-one, because he says, he flat out said the experience doesn't get better with ships that get bigger. And the thing is, once again, he had a relative cruise on a major mass market ship and had the time of their lives. But the point is, there's nothing wrong with those ships. But the thing is, it goes back to what people really want. In this case, it's smaller, but very, very luxury, whatever, too. So that was really fantastic, too. And something else that just was announced too is, with Royal Caribbean, they're going to be launching their Icon of the Seas, the biggest cruise ship ever built, in January 2024. And what they're doing is they are going to have a new Icon ship, I think two Icon ships besides Icon of the Seas. And they just announced today, this week, actually, the debut of their new Icon class ship, going to be called Star of the Seas, and she'll actually be sailing starting in August of 2025. And what they're doing as far as their itinerary, travelers can embark on the 7-night Caribbean vacation from Port Canaveral, which is close to Orlando, Florida. And they'll also have a chance to go to, of course, their private out island, which is called Perfect Day Coco Cay in the Bahamas. And it's really, really great because Star of the Seas is an Icon class ship, of course, and their new sailings are going to be visits to destinations such as Basseterre, St. Kitts, Nevis, Cozumel, Mexico, of course, Phillipsburg, St. Martin, Roatán, Honduras, and also San Juan, Puerto Rico. Also, the Star is going to be offering different types of vacation experiences across 8 different district neighborhoods too. And also they've got Thrill Island and the Chill Island provide really exciting, different, relaxing attractions. They've got the Aquadome too, and they've got different entertainment aboard. It being 4 signature stages, air, ice, water, and theater, and diverse activities that will really caters to adults as well as kids, teens, and the whole family. And once again, too, with they'll have 7 different pools, yes, and they'll have a swim up bar, swim and tonic, yes, and also cater to different types of vibes and moods, and also adults can relax at their Cloud 17. It's an exclusive retreat with splash with a really really beautiful infinity type of pool in the Hideaway. And then they've got the Lemon Post Bar, which is going to be offering members menus for both adults and kids too, which is great. And like I said, right now, even though the ship's not coming out until August of 2025, for guests who are part of their Crown Anchor Society members, they can actually take advantage of early booking privileges before the official opening on December 6th, 2023 to actually book the cruise, which was actually yesterday. So that's definitely something to keep in mind too. Something else that comes up too is we talk a lot about river cruising too over in Europe and different areas of the world too, but also Amawaways, which is a wonderful, wonderful company, been around for 23 years, I believe. They're family owned, wonderful people. Ama means love, yes, but they are beautiful company. What they do is they actually shared something as far as 6 different trends that really are shaping the river cruise industry today too. Because once again, I really think that river cruising is really very, very popular. People need to know what it's about too. You can actually take a river cruise from the U.S. Of course, we've got, of course, American Cruise Lines, which is a U.S.-based company, family-owned. Of course, they've been around for several years. Also, American Queen Voyages, which is part of Hornblower Group. But once again, with traveling and sailing over on river cruises in Europe and also around the world, they just mention some things. This was Azamara just mentions, Waterway, sorry, just mentioned some wonderful things that they're doing too. And they really have been implementing things as far as this environmental impact and really enhance the communities they visited for the past 21 years. And once again, 20 of their ships in their European fleet have received the Green Award, which recognizes quality, safety, and also environmental performance too. Also, the experiential travel component. And what they do is with Waterways, they really offer their guests very, very unique experiences, including culinary excursions, which is great, food, entertainment, seasonal events too. And once again, with Waterways, they work very, very closely with their local communities to really offer guest tourism activities that are respectful to the culture and the environment too. Also with wellness, Waterways really offers guests a really robust wellness program on board featuring fitness rooms, various classes led by professional wellness hosts, and also they have a full-size pickleball court on board, the Ama Magna, which is great, and just different things that they're doing in very, very wonderful ways too. And they've got onboard activities such as hiking, offshore you can actually take different type of included activities, including hiking, of course, cycling, also guided walks that let's guests really stay active while also exploring larger cities and also off the beaten path destinations too. And also when it comes to the culinary wine experiences, Waterways really features award-winning cuisine that highlights regional and seasonal dishes with different wines, fine wines from visited vineyards, exquisite meals that are available at no extra cost too. And also, one exclusive dining highlight is called their chef's table, which is only limited to a certain number of guests on board each evening. And with the guest interest, it really has been taking off in a very, very great way with famed culinary wine regions. And once again, too, with Waterways, they're going to actually be debuting their Flavors of Burgundy 7-night itinerary in 2024, which is going to be sailing between the port of Saint Jean de Louis, near the city of Dijon, and also Lyon, which is capital of France too. Once again, they offer some really, really personalized experiences too. What they do is guests can actually have a choice of up to 23 included shore excursions during a 7-night cruise. So once again, you're not paying for the shore excursions. They're offering their guests on board up to 23 included shore excursions for a 7-night cruise. And this freedom really lets guests really kind of tailor what they want their vacation to what they're really interested in too. And once again, they've got their 70 celebration wine river cruises in 2024. They also, it's led by a qualified wine expert from North America or Europe. Also, they're offering four different opportunities to really celebrate Black heritage, history, and culture in Egypt, Portugal, and France in 2024. And once again, they really, really have always planned to exceed their guest expectations, but they do some wonderful things on board. So definitely keep Amo Waterways on your list too. Something else that just came up this week was actually Windstar. Windstar Cruises, which is a beautiful cruise line, they just launched a multi-million-dollar redesign and update of their 3 sailing ships. And the cruise line mentioned they plan to complete this work in 2026. What they do is they're redesigning right now their 148 guest Windstar, and then that will follow with their 148 guest Wind Spirit, and then their 342 guest Windsurf. And they just started work on their Windstar this fall with an expansion of their pool deck, also an addition of a new pool and jacuzzi, and the expansion of their pool bar. And the line is also adding new sofas, ottomans, and chairs around the pool, new speakers and lighting, plus new fauna and grading around their pool bar. And also some things they're completing too will be to open up space in the lobby for a larger reception area, additional seating, and redesigning their spa and fitness center too. But once again, they do some wonderful things with Windstar Cruises. And with the Wind Spirit, that's going to be under full remodel, will be completed by 2025. The Windsurf will be upgraded in 2 phases, in 2024 and also 2026. And what they're going to be doing too is the projects are going to touch staterooms and their suites and notice suites to add additional interactive TVs. So once again, it's just a wonderful way to really think about what they're doing too, because once again, Windstar is a really, really fantastic company. And definitely keep that in mind too. Something else that I ran across too was we've got a lot as far as new ships coming out. I've mentioned before we've got the new Carnival ship coming out on December 23rd. And then also Princess Cruises, their newest ship is going to be coming out in the spring of this next year. What they're doing too is they're really, really doing some new things too, because once again, with Princess Cruises, of course, for years ago, it's called the Love Boat when it first started. But once again, too, as they're really, really doing some wonderful things, they're adding different things, and they've got a special Love Boat sale that starts December 13th through February 29th, and guests can get up to 40% off their cruise, plus a free room upgrade, and also the 3rd and 4th guests can actually sail free on select voyages. So definitely keep that in mind, because once again, with Princess Cruises, they really do a phenomenal job. They were, of course, known for being in the Alaska market, which is great too, but also the Caribbean. And once again, with the California coast, they do sail out of there. I know that they've got a 7 to 11 day California coast and Pacific Northwest voyages that are taking place. Sailing from maybe San Diego, also Santa Barbara, San Francisco, Seattle, and Victoria. And of course, too, they've got some sailings, of course, out of Mexico, and these include Cabo San Lucas, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. And once again, of course, Alaska season will be coming up in next year. Usually starts in May, goes through maybe September, first part of September. But they are really known for their beautiful Alaskan cruises too. Plus, the big thing about Alaska is definitely keep in mind that it's important maybe to think about maybe not just taking a cruise, but maybe doing like a pre-cruise experience first, then taking the ship one way down into Alaska, and then you wind up either in Seattle or Vancouver, or the opposite way too. Because once again, it's really a great way to really enjoy Alaska in a very diverse way to see the cultures and what they're doing too. And I know that what they're doing too is, as far as what's new on board, they just announced something. Um, they started their Medallion class app, and it's going to become the Princess Cruises app. And what you do is you can actually, it's really their groundbreaking onboard experience. And with Medallion, it evolves. What they're doing is they're changing it to the Princess Cruises app. You download the app and can actually do things on the app itself too, which is great. And you can find your information. And also, it makes the transition to Princess Cruises app more seamless and effortless too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, a lot of cruise lines have apps. When I was actually on the pre-christening cruise of the Celebrity Ascent last week for 2 nights, I did download the app. I could check different things on the app. Plus, in my case, they did offer free Wi-Fi when we were on board the ship, which is important too, because once again, with when you get on a ship, of course, we just can't go without Wi-Fi, can we? And of course, this is a pre-christening cruise. They provide all the guests on board with free Wi-Fi. Of course, you can actually purchase Wi-Fi programs too on board the ship when you're in regular sailing. But definitely keep that in mind because once again, we really depend on that too more than ever. And I think that's really, really, I think important too. And something else that came up too, like I said, with Princess Cruises, they're really like I said, they're really embarking their first ever itinerary from Port Canaveral, and they're really establishing it as a new home port for them in Central Florida. As mentioned, with Port Canaveral, it's about an hour away from Orlando, so you can fly into Orlando, which is great. And what they're doing new is they're offering, they just announced some announcements too, is as far as sailings from November 2024 through April 2025, they're featuring 20 cruise departures in the Eastern and Western Caribbean. That will be from 4 to maybe 8 days. And this includes, of course, from Port Canaveral. And this includes a special Thanksgiving 4-day getaway, which is a voyage to Turks and Caicos. This is on November 27th of 2024. Also, they will be offering on Eastern Caribbean 6-day cruises to Nassau, Grand Turk, and either Amber Cove or San Juan. They've got dates for those too. In 2024, they've got December 8th and December 23rd of 2024. I'll be offering more, of course. As far as 2025, they gave a list of January 6th, January 20th, February 3rd, 17th, and March 3rd, 17th, and 31st in 2025. And they'll be offering some Eastern Caribbean 8-day cruises with St. Thomas, of course, St. Martin, San Juan, Grand Turks. And these are some sailings that are going to be one taking place on December 1st and December 29th in 2024. Then more sailings for this special itinerary in 2025. And they're offering some Western Caribbean 8-day voyages to Cozumel, Costa Maya, Belize City, and Roatan and Mahogany Bay. That would be on December 15th, 2024. Also, following that would be January 12th, February 9th, March 9th, and also April 6th, 2025. And also, cruisers can actually combine, if they want to, any 6 or 8-day itineraries for a longer 14-day vacation. And the good thing is, in my case, I always like to take a cruise that maybe is 8 to 10 days, of course. And one time it just didn't work out. So what I did was I did 2 back-to-back cruises on Princess Cruises, which was really fun. We did 2 different itineraries. So in my case, I didn't have to switch my stateroom. We had disembarked, but for a bit, got back on board the ship. I had a chance to really experience another cruise ship, just a tour. But it was great to do that too, because once again, it gives you more options as far as itineraries to do too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, with Port Canaveral really being introduced as their new home port for Princess Cruises. It really gives them more presence in North America. And also, it really is a major drive market as far as convenient access, because once again, you can actually, you have a lot of options as far as flights in and out of Orlando. And also, with many of their guests, sailing from Port Canaveral, they're going to experience Princess for the first time. But like I said, they really, really do provide some wonderful, unique experiences too for guests too. So definitely keep that in mind, because once again, like I said, Port Canaveral is taking off like crazy, which is very, very positive. And years ago when they first started, was smaller ships sailing out of there, not as many itineraries. But once again, we're seeing a lot of cruise lines that actually home porting their ships in Port Canaveral. And once again, you have options as far as flying in and out of Orlando. So that makes it much easier to go to too if you want to. And once again, definitely keep that in mind, because once again, you've got different choices as far as that too. And as mentioned, like I said, with Icon of the Seas, that's coming out, of course, in January this year. But once again, in 2025, their third inline new ship, the Star of the Seas, is going to actually be launching in 2025. So definitely keep that in mind, because with their Icon ships, they will sail, as far as I think I mentioned, the Star of the Sea is going to sail out of Port Canaveral, and should be offering 7-night itineraries from Port Canaveral to different places in the Caribbean, Western Caribbean. Also, they'll be offering Eastern Caribbean too. And once again, with Coco Cay, what they do is Coco Cay is actually Royal Caribbean's private out island, and they're adding more to it. She's going through some new updates right now, and what they're doing is, as far as Coco Cay, it's going to be including their first adults-only oasis, the Hideaway Beach, which is going to be opening in January 2024. Also, private beach pools and cabanas. And then, of course, with the Icon Seas coming out in January of this next year, 2024, they'll be able to really go to, the Coco Cay, which is great too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, you've got different options as far as, options to see. And I love private out islands. You actually relax and enjoy the views and the experiences. And once again, it's really, really great to think about that too, because once again, it's just a way to really, really experience a beautiful place. And you dock right there, get off the ship, and they have different options as far as dining experiences, entertainment to do too. And once again, as mentioned with the Icon of the Seas, she's going to have 20 decks and 2,805 staterooms, which holds up to 7,600 guests. And of course, their crew members will be over 2,305 crew members too. And with the Stars Orlando-based itinerary, she's going to really provide a great alternative to the Icon Seas, which is going to be sailing out of Miami. So definitely keep that in mind too, because we've got different choices, which is good too. Any questions for me, Mark? Now, I've talked about a lot of different things coming up in the cruise industry too, of course. Because once again, we've got some changes to its Explorer journeys too, which is good.
No, there's a lot of things that you were talking about. It was quite interesting. We were actually doing another show on the network, and one of your favorite topics came up, and I heard some interesting answers. It was actually not even on this particular platform, Pod TV. Now that I think about it, it was actually in Clubhouse, but there were some people that were thinking, because there was a young lady that was a pianist, and she was trying to decide some of the different ways that you can make money in the piano field. And somebody suggested that she look into the wedding market, but somebody else had suggested that she looked into the cruise market. And I was trying to remember how much musicians are paid and all along those lines, but they were some pretty good figures. And like you said, they did mention that they get room and board during the trip, and sometimes it's a year-long trip, and sometimes it is shorter trips, because they even mentioned how some of the people, because I think one of the people that was on that platform, Clubhouse, was talking about the day he knew some folks that had gone on a P&O cruise. So it's one of those shorter shorter cruises
Right.
as well. So they were just talking about how that could be an opportunity because this young lady was a talented keyboardist that they were saying that they might want to explore the possibility of the cruise industry as a field and everything. So as you have done work, and we talked about it before, I didn't know if you had any general idea of what the amount of money that people can make on those cruises, but it did seem like it was at least in the several hundred, if not $1,000 ranges, and all along those lines. And considering the fact that it's sometimes only an hour or 2 hour workday, but you do have all that intensive training, because we've shown videos in the past about that it could be worthwhile if that is something you are considering. I've even had a friend of mine, I think they lived in New York, that had gone on some cruises even later in their career. So it might even be a second or third career if you are already established as an artist. Because I do remember having a friend, I think they were from New York City, but they used to tour regularly on the European market doing some of the cruises. And as I told you, I went on one cruise and I met a group that was doing several R&B kind of covers. And I think they were coming out of Ohio, many of them, but they were enjoying their chance to travel the world and also do what they love, which is singing. But I didn't know if you had any thoughts about how much performers are paid and just anything in that general conversation, because that came up literally on Clubhouse yesterday evening.
Great. Now, I don't know what they get paid because it varies so much, but the good thing is with the if you are a staff member on board a ship, of course, too, is you have to go to different trainings too. But once again, too, usually they do contracts. I know with their staff members, it's usually 6 months, but you can actually do back-to-back, contracts too. Because when I was on the Celebrity Ascent last week, the gentleman I talked to was very, very helpful. Just mentioned this was like his fourth contract working at Celebrity Cruises. He loved it.
Wow.
What they do is, of course, you've got free room and board. And what they do too is they really work with the Wi-Fi for their guests too. They're not their guests, but their staff members too. And they have areas for their staff members to actually enjoy different things too, which is great. They've expanded like crazy as far as workout places too, private pools, things just for the staff members, which is great. Once again, though, too, is the staff members, I know they work very hard, but one thing that is just phenomenal, I think, is entertainment.
Yeah.
There are so many options out there. When I was actually on the Celebrity Set last week, there was one area, it's called The Club. It's a small place, maybe handles maybe 200, 300 people, but they had different shows in there, small shows. They were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine who was on board that sailing too. He was staying for the christening, and we talked before I was disembarking. He said, Cindy, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen on board a cruise ship.
Wow.
It was fantastic. Once again, too, is their talent is just amazing as far as their dancers and their singers and their pianists, because in this case, it was just amazing. I talked to two gentlemen that actually worked. They were part of that one show I was at the last night in the club. It was fantastic. But just, I think just the ambiance, and even I was talking to a General Works, they have this art gallery area place too. He really loves working there too. He helped me out with something else differently. But once again, I just think it's just another option. Think about if you want to take another leap in your career too, and if you got talents and skills too, because once again, you can't necessarily disembark at all the ports, but it kind of depends.
No, it sounds like it. Well, I just looked it up in because there was a website called Musicians for Cruises and all along those lines, and they actually did give some of the figures on this particular website. But it says that the salary for a piano bar entertainer can be anywhere from $3,000 to $3,500, and all along those lines. And of course, they also said that there are piano vocalists and there are spring cruises, and sometimes those people might be making $2,500 per month if they are a musician, and all along those lines. And it definitely even says that they have something called reading musicians, and this was actually in pounds, and it looks like that was between 1,900 and 1,904 pounds and 2,808 pounds, and I'm not sure what pounds translate to. And then there was another one that says piano vocalists were going for like around $3,200, and all in that space. And the solo pianist and a piano singer might be negotiable. So some of these figures actually look pretty decent. A female saxophonist on one of these looks like it was around $1,000, and a female singer looks like that might have been around that same kind of feel. So they can go to this website that exists. It's called the Musicians for Cruises. So apparently they
Okay.
even have some of the details and some of
Right.
the different kind of jobs that are available and all along those lines. But they even give you some of the job details, because even if I click on this one that says
Right.
the job details for the piano bar entertainer and all along those lines, it says description and conditions, a single share cabin and laundry services. Washing facilities also available on board. Guest area privileges when socializing. All meals will be provided on the board. Daily duties include up to 4 times 45-minute sets per day, including background lounge music accompanied with CD and ACD and solo piano vocal set. Assist the cruise director with meet and greet events, general safety duties, and other activities as specified by the cruise director or the HD. I'm not sure what the HD stands for, but you probably know that term better than I do. And all along those lines, but definitely does give you that, and that's the one that was between 3,000 and 3,500. So to get on a cruise for free and to get some money in your pocket, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. And like I said, it
No,
might be
it
something
doesn't.
people
Plus, the
want
good thing is too. Remember, they're giving you free room and board. I mean,
right.
you've got your free stateroom to stay in too. Usually they're small, of course. Sometimes they put people together. It kind of depends on
Right.
the area that you're working at too. But also, once again, you don't have to worry about paying for your meals, paying rent, you know. And once again, it's a good way to really enjoy what you love doing anyway and entertain people. And I'll tell you what, just the entertainers I've seen on cruise ships are just absolutely amazing. Last week was just phenomenal.
Well, yeah, and even they aren't paid that bad. My bad. I just looked at one of the spring cruises on this website, and this is for a band, and it looks like it was $2,500 per month, and it says they have 5 positions available for a spring cruise. A good rates of pay, $2,500 per month. Show band with occasional cocktail or other musical activities. And in this particular band that they were looking for, they said the following positions were available: a drummer, a guitarist, a
Mhm.
bassist, a keyboard player, and a vocalist. So that would be a
Right.
entire kind of band similar to what you saw, and
Yeah.
all along those lines. And definitely, like I said, you can even apparently apply on this website, because they even tell you where they are looking for folks for these jobs. And it's called
Right.
musiciansforcruises.com. And you can go there and all along those lines and possibly even line up some of these job opportunities. I'm sure there are other websites that are similar that probably
Right.
have some of these jobs listed as well. And even Royal Caribbean, because they even pull up one on the Royal Caribbean website, and it says Royal Caribbean is hiring musicians, singers, and performers. So this is actually
Right.
from the Royal Caribbean website and all along those lines. And they definitely said live music positions are available. They were looking for a Caribbean band. They were looking for a classical guitarist. They were looking for duos and jazz bands, Latin bands, and orchestra musicians, a party dance band, which could be seeking a 4 to 6 piece party variety dance band, a pub guitarist, a Schoner bar piano entertainer, and a show conductor. And they have their applications literally on the Royal Caribbean Entertainment.com /live music /careers. So you literally can go onto that particular website and apply for the jobs right there and everything. The other one was a more generic website that I mentioned, but this was directly applying at the cruise line itself. I did have one other quick question for you, Cindy. Not so much about the entertainment, because that came up on that conversation, but I know you mentioned Southwestern, and I know that a lot of times the cruise industry, because it is a show, Good Ship Happens, about the cruise industry, but there are other parts of the travel industry, and I was just wondering, do they ever do bundle packages where you might get, say, a discount on Southwest if you fly with a certain cruise line, or maybe get a discount on one of the other airlines, maybe even a European airline if you're going over to Europe, or, and I know you oftentimes talk about Bright Star, or even the hotels, because I've
Right.
gone on some of the websites that are discount websites. They will sometimes have a package deal where you might get a discount on the hotel if you are going on a certain cruise and all along those lines. So just wondering how these bundle packages work, where you might get to save money not just on the cruise, but also on the way to get to the cruise, which might be either a plane
Right.
or a train, or the accommodations, which might be a hotel till you have the accommodation of the boat when you get on the cruise itself.
Right. Good question. Because once again, too, is with the cruise lines, you can actually book your airfare through the cruise line if you want to. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if any cruise line really works directly with Southwest Airlines or not. Okay. I usually deal with American, United. When I've flown down to be on the Celebrity Ascent, they put me on American Airlines. Was on MSC Cruises earlier April when they flew me on to New York to see the new ship there, Meraviglia, because she was docking and sailing out of New York. They put me in a, I can't remember if it's American United, but they usually don't deal with with Southwest Airlines, so to speak. But they have different airlines you can actually book through you when you book, if you book directly with a cruise line, you can actually book your airfare through them too. And also when it comes up to river cruises, especially if you're doing a river cruise over in Europe,
Mhm.
usually they do have packages where they have you fly in a day or two before. The reason for that too is because sometimes with flights you could have some challenging issues. It's better to get down there, I think, a day earlier if you can,
Right.
or 2 days earlier. But with the river cruise, and especially in Europe, they do offer that, which is great. So it gives you a chance to really relax, get to the area you're going to be sailing from first, but you get down there a day or two before. And even with Alaska, as mentioned, you can actually do Princess Cruises does this, how America does it. They're all doing it like crazy in a very good way, but also you can actually take an Alaska cruise, but maybe fly a couple of days earlier and fly up to like Fairbanks first,
Yeah.
and do that. They got hotels they work with there too. It really gives you a chance to really see more of the beautiful areas in Alaska. And
Sounds like it.
then you board the ship, which is phenomenal. But once again, too, is even when you're sailing on a Caribbean cruise, I always tell people you don't miss a ship, okay? But it's good to really, especially I think, fly down a day early if you can get a hotel lined up. Cruise lines offer the pre-cruise and post-cruise
Right.
options too. So definitely keep that in mind because, like I said, although flights have not been running into issues, airlines haven't been running issues like we did last year in December with the meltdown. It's
Mhm.
still, I think, safer to probably fly down a day early if you can.
Oh
And
wow.
also get flight out, first flight down, try and get a nonstop flight so you don't have delays because once again, sometimes they just can't handle certain things. It's not they're trying to do themselves. Sometimes things come up with staff, whole thing. But once again, definitely think about flying in a day before. And also, if you book with the cruise line directly, they've got packages. And also, if you work with a travel advisor, which I really, really suggest you do, they can provide different options for that too.
Sounds great. Some great advice and all along those
Right,
lines. So it was
right.
amazing advice. And that's why I was asking that question because I knew you would have some good answers because I figured there had to be these kind of package deals that exist so that you can get everything incorporated. And there might even have um, parts of the trip that are incorporated as well. Because I'm thinking that if you are, say, doing a cruise at a time that a popular event is going on, they might incorporate that into the cruise. Like I'm imagining, and I don't know this for a fact, if you can clarify me if I'm wrong, that they during the time of the World Cup that there might have been cruises going down there that the World Cup was part of the cruise trip. So maybe you got a chance to go to the sporting event while also going on the cruise. And I'm thinking they might even do some of that with like some
Yeah,
of the
they might, but also good too. It's just like I said in what I'm suggesting too is definitely regardless whether you're working with TravelAdvisor, which I really, really suggest you do, or the cruise line itself, but definitely think about going in. Well, like I said, with river cruises in Europe, they automatically just put that in the whole package together. Okay. But one thing too, I always tell people is definitely get travel insurance. And rule number one is purchase it from a regular professional travel insurance company. I love Allianz. That's one. I always, when I take my cruises for vacations, I always purchase my own cruise insurance directly from Allianz. Travelguard's another one. They're great too. But once again, too, is not that I'm trying to be negative, but the point is you don't want to buy insurance from the company that you're insuring yourself against, so to speak. So to
right.
speak. Just take separate travel insurance. Okay. And once again, too, is the cruise lines have their own insurance, but in my case, too, is just purchase it through a regular professional travel insurance company. They've got some good ones out there. Allianz is fantastic. I use them all the time.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna bounce off, let you talk some more, and I might have
Yeah.
some cruise videos coming up shortly. But yeah, those were two questions that had been
Yes.
risen in some conversations that I had, and we might be back toward the end with a couple of videos. But right now, I'll let you get back to the rest of your reporting.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we're talking about things come up as far as different cruise lines, and one that just debuted earlier this year was Explorer Journeys. It's very luxury, smaller ships, and their first ship, the Explorer One, actually did debut earlier this year. And with Explorer Journeys, that's owned by the MSC Group. They're family owned. They actually have, I believe, the second largest container shipping company in the world. They're family owned, been around for a long time. They have MSC Cruises, of course. And then they just launched Explorer Journeys, which is bringing their ocean life to sea. They're very, very small ships, but as mentioned, their Explorer One just debuted earlier this year. And what they're doing is, I know that with the Explorer One, they're scheduled from October 2024 to April 2024. Has just been revised. So the ship's going to be sailing in the Caribbean, and she's been slated to do some cruises up the Amazon River, but they changed that. And once again, with their winter 2024-2025 season, it's going to be starting the transatlantic cruise from Barcelona to the Caribbean. And once again, with the Explorer One, it actually accommodates 922 guests. And what they're doing is they're offering more cruises of 6 to 8 nights based on customer feedback, which is great. So once again, they have really just made some announcements recently about some changes they're doing. Actually came up earlier this week. And then from April to November 2025, the Explorer One, their first ship, is going to sail to the Mediterranean, also the islands in the Aegean Sea in the winter time, 2025 through 2026. The Explorer One will sail to Red Sea and also Arabian Peninsula. And they've got their other ship coming out. The Explorer 2 is scheduled to actually embark on her main cruise from Barcelona on August 12th of 2024. And she will be sailing in the Western Mediterranean until November 2024, and then she's going to cross the Atlantic Ocean and then sail Caribbean cruises during the winter months. And once again, with these ships, they're brand new, very, very few guests, 900 and I think I mentioned 922 guests on board their ships. Smaller, but once again, they really want to embrace what people want, more luxury, and bringing that ocean life to sea. So definitely keep that in mind too. Their ships look absolutely beautiful. I've written about them, and definitely keep that in mind too, because you've got different options out there too, as far as luxury, but also I really think it depends on what you want to do. I mean, a friend of mine just reached out to me today because she's planning on trying to find a cruise maybe over the holidays. And we talked about different cruises. I should be taking her family with her kids. Give her some suggestions, of course, and she actually did find some itineraries available for New Year's, which is great because sometimes with the holiday season, the cruises sell out pretty fast. But with the smaller luxury cruise lines, they'll sell out very, very fast. But definitely keep it in mind too, because once again, there's so many options out there too, and just different options. Something else that came up too is we're talking about the Christmas markets, okay? And I ran a really fantastic article. It talked about the 8 best Christmas markets for river cruises that take place in 2024, and they gave out different cruise lines that offer these. These will be river cruise lines, but once again, from late November through December each year, the most river cruise lines companies, they with their Europe-based ships, really take their passengers to different towns to really learn more about Christmas traditions, shop at Christmas markets, and try seasonal treats. And these river cruises are only run seasonally while the markets are open. So they tend to book up pretty fast, but also, once again, they have passengers that range from older adults to all types of families looking for a winter holiday filled with festive fun. And once again, can you imagine sailing down one of Europe's iconic rivers with picturesque, villages and castles and landscapes that pass you by with twinkling lights that really resonate with the Christmas theme too, once again, too. And once again, when it comes to taking a cruise and enjoying that Christmas market, River Cruise Lines do that. And definitely keep that in mind too. They gave some different cruise lines what they provide. For instance, Riverside Electric Cruises, which actually did launch earlier this year, what they do is they mention Riverside Electric Cruises. They offer Christmas on the Danube, and they offer short sailings. Um, they offer 4-night Danube River sailings that start from Vienna, Austria, and end in Passau, Germany. And what's great is the majority of this trip is actually in Austria, with ports in Vienna, Krems, Milk, and Linz before their final day in Germany. And also in Vienna, you can choose to visit one of the city's 100 plus museums or visit the iconic Opera House before heading to the Christmas market for a glass of wine, shopping. And once again, too, um, that's one option if you're looking for maybe a shorter river cruise over in Europe, which is great. And also, as far as besides Riverside Luxury Cruises, their Christmas atmosphere along the Danube, what they do is they actually depart in early and mid December 2024. Also, what they do too is they do include your meals, your one excursion per destination. Gratuities are included, Wi-Fi is included, which is great, butler service, and all transfers are included in the cruise fare, which is great. When it comes to France, they mentioned Crossy Europe, which offers some really, really fantastic Europe cruises, of course, too. That's another option. As far as best for families, one thing that people are not aware of is Adventures by Disney. And what they do is they offer the Rhine River Christmas Markets cruise. And for families looking for Christmas markets through Switzerland, France, Germany, and Netherlands, they can enjoy Adventures by Disney's Rhine River cruise. And what's really good too is they have an 8-day cruise that allows kids as young as 5 to join, although Disney really suggests children ages 8 years and older. And really what makes Adventures by Disney stand out is their adventure guides, because these are Disney trained leaders that are experts in different destinations. So once again, each adventure guide travels with the group throughout the cruise. So your family can actually really get to know them and they get to know you. And this really provides more personalized recommendations as far as activities. And with each town, they share the history, the culture, and the legends of that destination. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, with they've got different things too. They've got, for instance, different options. And like I said, with the Disney Rhine River Cruise Christmas markets, they mentioned that they've got cruises departing on December 19th, 2024. Of course, they're already departed right now, I think right now, going on right now too, but definitely keep that in mind too. And another one they mentioned too in this report was actually with Uniworld. Uniworld Belgian Holiday Markets. Uniworld is a fantastic river cruise line, and they offer some different options for guests. With Uniworld, they offer their Belgian holiday markets cruises on 4 departure dates from late November through December of 2024. And they've got 3 December dates that will be coming up in 2025. Also, with their cruise fares with Uniworld, these include premium spirits and wine, access to bikes on board the ships, walking sticks, fitness classes, Wi-Fi is included, of course, enrichment lectures. They've got shore excursions in each port. Also, the onboard activities and gratuities and group transfers are included. To and from the airport are included too. So definitely keep that in mind. One thing they mentioned too was actually another option when it comes to solo travelers, especially with the river cruise lines. And I know that sometimes with the solo travelers, they want to really enjoy a river cruise without the hassle of that single supplement where you get charged twice. And I know Tulk has a special Christmas market itineraries. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, they've got some special single solo travelers. You don't get double charged. So definitely keep that in mind. And then also another cruise line is Avalon Waterways. They've got, if people like maybe a longer cruise that really sails deep into the southern part of Europe, they might want to consider Avalon Waterways. They've got a festive time on the romantic Rhine River cruise, which includes 1 night in Lucerne, 3 nights. And there's also some festive time with their romantic Rhine itineraries. So definitely keep that in mind too. And then for longer 12-night cruises and a land-based trip, guests can actually embark on a cruise ship in Amsterdam and then enjoy a really beautiful enjoy a day with free exploration before boarding their riverboat, and then followed by the Amsterdam Canal Cruise on day 2. And then the cruise then departs from Germany, where guests can actually employ the Christmas markets in Cologne, and then 3 days on day 3 and 4. And then they also offer some options too, as far as guests can actually enjoy Mons and then see the Gutenberg Museum and travel further into Heidelberg to explore the castle there. And then on day 6, they bring the cruise to Strasbourg, France. But definitely keep that in mind, because once again, too, is there's so many options out there too. And Avalon Waterways is a fantastic cruise line. Something else is with Alma Waterways. If you're looking for unique destinations, Alma Waterways has their Gems of the Southeastern Europe, which is great. And although many river cruise lines really traverse to waters around France, Germany, and Austria, what's kind of nice too is Alma Waterways Gems of Southern Europe, Southeast Europe, actually take guests to Bulgaria, Croatia, Hungary, Serbia, and Romania. And these 7-night cruises sail between Budapest and Georgi along the Danube River. And once again, if your sailing starts in Budapest, you'll need to arrive a day earlier, which is important too. That way you can actually plan to explore the city. And the cruise doesn't offer any shore excursion here, but once again, you can actually do some sightseeing on your own too. And then once again, with Alma Waterways, their Gems of Southwest E is going to be sailing between late November and late December 2024. Of course, they're doing that right now because we're into November, December. But once again, with Alma Waterways, their fares include free Wi-Fi, of course, wellness activities, daily entertainment. They've got cultural performances, which is great. They also have all meals, drinks at lunch and dinner, plus a daily cocktail hour, excursions in each destination. Also, they've got really fantastic knowledgeable guides too, which is great too. So definitely, if you've ever considered maybe a Christmas market as far as river cruises, 2024 is a great one to think about, because once again, the different river cruise lines offer some really, really fantastic Christmas market river cruises. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, there's so many options out there too. And with Europe, of course, you've got different options. They've got the family-friendly option, of course, solo travel without the single supplement that you can go to unique destinations too. And once again, with river cruises over in Europe, the inclusion of most is pretty similar, but usually drinks are included usually included, and usually they have complimentary shore excursions you can choose from. So you can really think about overall, as far as your trip, what you want to do, where you want to go to, and also what's important as far as exploring these different great places in Christmas, because it's really a nice option to think about maybe for 2024, thinking about maybe taking a river cruise and exploring the Christmas markets in Europe in 2024 too. So definitely keep that in mind, because we've got beautiful options out there too. And as far as, like I said, mention new ships coming out, which I've mentioned in the past, but we've got beautiful ones coming out. And I think I mentioned American Gloria is actually American Cruise Line's newest coastal cat. It was launched this year, and they're what they're doing is they've got their the American Glory is their newest ship in the American's ongoing series of their 12 new coastal cats entering the U.S. waterways. And with the American Glory, she actually sailed on her inaugural cruise on November 28th from Maryland to Florida, which is great. And once again, they're offering some new options. And one thing about with American Cruise Lines, they have these with their Coastal Cat ships, including the American Glory. They accommodate just 100 guests. And their newest ship, the American Glory, features 4 decks. She showcases new catamaran bow, and what they do is they offer a really beautiful interior design, private balcony accommodations, spacious single and double occupancy staterooms, as well as suites. And they've got a beautiful top view deck for amazing views, lounges, both inside and outside. They've got their main restaurant, a casual cafe, and a fitness center, too. And once again, too, I know that with additional ships, they've got 2 new scheduled ships scheduled for delivery in 2024, which is great. And once again, they're called their Coastal Cat ships, too. So definitely keep that in mind because we've got so many options out there, too. And as mentioned, we've got the Icon Seas coming out next year. Princess Cruises has their new ship coming out in the spring. We've got the new Carnival ship coming out on December 23rd, which is great. Of course, there's just on the Celebrity set, which was just christened, would go on December 1st, offering great itineraries. And of course, with Norwegian Viva, that was their new cruise ship, which was just christened on November 28th. And she's going to be sailing cruises right now out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. But definitely, there's so many options out there, too. Didn't want to confuse you. But once again, we've got great ships coming out and wonderful ones coming out next year, too. But also just keep in mind what you want to do, what you want to see, where you want to go, because there's so many options out there, period. It's a great time to think about where you want to really take your next cruise to. Or if you haven't taken a cruise, definitely keep it in mind because there's so many wonderful options out there for you. Mark, any other questions you want to talk about before we
Not so much other questions, but I did have a couple of quick videos. I got a 4-minute video about celebrity and definitely what they've got going on. And somebody had that. And then you had mentioned Explorer. And we've got a longer video that we can go out with of Explorer 1 and all along those lines. It's about a 8-minute video, but definitely we can go a little bit over and all along those lines. But definitely I've got these 2 videos. So let's hear the one about Explorer and see what they're talking about, since it looks like it's a long video about Explorer 1. And then if you want, we can play the Celebrity Ascent one as well. But let's check out what they got to say about
the ship. I fell in love with it. It was amazing. I can't wait to get on the ship, take a cruise.
Cool. Well, we're going to check out about Explorer 1. So let's watch this.
Yes.
Explorer Journeys is just about ready to launch their first vessel, Explorer 1, and we'll take you on a preview coming up on Talking Cruise. With just 461 oceanfront suites and residences, Explorer 1, the first of 4 vessels from new cruise line Explorer Journeys, operated by MSC Cruises, will offer intimate and vibrant public spaces and a guest-to-crew ratio of almost 1-to-1. Explorer Journeys are designed to suit personal preferences with a choice of 9 dining venues utilizing locally sourced sustainable ingredients, several indoor and outdoor bars and lounges, and spacious wellness facilities. The ships will also feature 14 decks, generous outdoor spaces with more than 26,000 square feet overlooking the ocean, 64 private cabanas, and 4 pools. Explorer 1 will begin sailing from Southampton, England, on an inaugural 15-night fjords and Arctic Circle itinerary, followed by Iceland and Greenland and Canada, New England throughout the summer. Other destinations include the Caribbean, Central America, Hawaii, Alaska, and the Mediterranean.
It's
that was,
amazing. I wrote about her too. Haven't
yeah.
seen her, but I got pictures. I wrote an article about her too before she was brought to U.S. Well, she actually was christened here too in the U.S. too before she launched in the summertime over in Europe, which is great. So
You know, it's beautiful seeing her and everything, and all that good food is making me hungry. So, like I said, there was some great food that they were showcasing, and all along those lines.
yes.
Well, I got one more. I think it's Celebrity Ascent that we've seen before that we can close out with. But if there's other remarks that you want to make, just let me know, and I'll close it out at that time. But I'll turn it back over to you, and then I've got the Celebrity Ascent 4-minute spot on them and everything.
That's fine. Why don't we just go to the video? That's fine too. Like I said, I mentioned when I was on the Celebrity Ascent, I didn't get a chance to meet the co-captains. They were on board, but they were busy, of course, too, because we were actually sailing. But I definitely want to take a cruise on Celebrity Ascent so I can actually meet them in person.
Yep, definitely.
So they're wonderful people, and they're brothers. They inspire each other. Just amazing people.
I think I got the one with the brothers and also this one. So maybe we'll play them both back to back, but we'll close out with those two.
Play the newer one, because the thing is with Lisa Lutoff-Perlo, who was in the first video, she moved up a different role. She's no longer president. She moved a different role. But Laura, I met her. She's a new president and amazing person.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is a newer one or not, but it was from earlier, but I'm pretty sure it's about an Ascent. But let's just see which this one is, and we'll just go with it.
That's great.
It might be a surprise to both of us.
Okay, that's great.
It's actually several of them, but we will go out with the young ladies and Ascent as well. But that was everything from Silhouette to a number of the other celebrity
Right,
hits
right.
as well. But we'll go out with the 1 minute Ascent one, and then we'll end the stream
great.
at
That's
that notice and everything. But we'll go out with the ladies that were the
Oh, the
uh,
godmothers, yes. They had
godmothers
two
was the-
sisters as godmothers for the ship, but how fun they've got two sisters that are godmothers, and they have two co-captains that are brothers.
Yeah. So we'll go out with the godmothers this time, and next time maybe we'll go out with the brothers and everything. Since we
Yes,
always go out with the brothers,
yes,
but
right.
let's go out with the
Yes.
godmothers on this particular one since it's only about
Yes.
a minute long. So let's get
Great.
this one.
Godmothers, will you please do us the honor of naming the ship?
We name this ship Celebrity Ascent. And may God bless her and all who sail on her.
Okay, so here's the honor signals up in the air. Everybody, let me see those hands coming in. Let me see those hands coming in there. Celebrity Ascent coming in, everybody. You can be there. You can be there. Welcome.